The nature of self is happiness. And therefore, happiness is also always present. It is the natural state of being. It is unhappiness that is imagined through mind, whereas happiness is ever present. It does not need to be created. It does not need to be attained or achieved or brought about through some external means. Objects don't create happiness. Happiness is naturally experienced to be myself when I am not identified with objects and with belief in what objects should be here and what objects should not be here. And when I am not also in further battle with the belief and thought about which objects should be here or not should not be here. You see, it is thought that arises, that projects and assumes and labels life as it is. And it creates compartments based on its conditioning. That I am unhappy because this is here. Or I am unhappy because this is not here. This is not the way life should be right now. It's nothing other than an interpretation. It's nothing other than just a judgment, a label. Belief in that gives rise to unhappiness, suffering. And the mind keeps you in this chase. Where it will always paint what is in a light which is, it's not perfect. It's not exactly the way that I want it to be. But once I have this one missing piece, that's all I need, then I will be happy. Once I achieve this, or once I attain this, then I will be happy. And this is believed in as my voice. This is believed in as the truth. Also because you look around you and everybody else is also believing in this chase. And so it's also considered normal. It's considered the truth. And it is this chase, it is this belief in these thoughts, which this should not be the way that it is. This should be, and it's not here right now. So so that's also something that I don't want, and this isn't what I want. What I do want is what I'm working towards, and once this comes about, once this is achieved, once this is attained, then I will be happy. And so if we stay in this chase, happiness is always something on the other side of this big mountain. And it always needs to be earned. And it is always dependent on external circumstances and objects. And it is assumed to be a product of things which are very temporary, coming and going. So know that you can either live in this chase, and you will see for yourself again and again and again how many years of seeing does it need to take place that once I have what I want, once I have become who I want to be, the moment I achieve that, I enjoy it for a little while, because for those moments I give up the chase. And when I give up the chase, actually that is when our happiness is just naturally seen to be present here. But I assume that happiness is coming because I have gotten what I want. So how many years of seeing is it going to take of you constantly achieving something, being happy for a little while, and then just falling into the projection of the next chase of once I achieve this, then I'll be happy and at peace. How many years of that before recognizing that happiness is nowhere to be found in objects of experience? It is nowhere to be found in thought, in chase. The chase for objects, the belief in this is not the way that it should be right now, is the cloud covering the natural happiness here in this moment. Happiness, again, does not need to be created. It is ever present, the natural state. Unhappiness is fabricated by belief in thought. It is created out of nothing, out of projection, and now it forms a layer which is more perceivable than the natural state. The natural state becomes neglected. All attention is just occupied by those thoughts, creating this layer and creating more and more layers of suffering on top of it. And all that is perceivable now is suffering and unhappiness. So even the fact that, like, when you hear, the moment that you hear that happiness is the natural state, you go, what is this guy talking about? It's almost hard for you to believe, because all your life, happiness is something that has to be attained or is short-lived. And now someone's telling you that happiness is naturally always present. So then what is required for you to start recognizing this and living in the natural state through happiness? The only thing that needs to be done is letting go of belief in thought. Is letting go of the firm conviction that this is not the way things should be right now, and that once I achieve this, then I will be happy. Knowing that even if you were to achieve what you are so desperately clinging on to right now, wanting to achieve right now, even if you were to get that and achieve that, even in that perfect world projection, the mind will find other ways to manipulate even that projection and create suffering in that, unhappiness in that, where then it will create the next set of circumstances which you have to achieve in order to be happy. Knowing that, rest assured right here, as you are, happy. Be as you are and disengage from all thoughts. Take your attention away from all thoughts about what life is and what it should be, and just be here as you are. Experience life fully. Be here with life rather than being in thoughts about life. This itself is enough. And you will see that this isn't even a doing. If anything, it is an undoing. It is an unraveling of the layers and layers of cloud covering the natural state. And when you are here as you are, now you will see that not only happiness is already here, and there's a natural contentment and peace, no pressure, no fear, but instead now also life unfolds in a more effortless, happy way. The way life and the activity of this one is unfolding now is starting to reflect the natural well-being and the happiness of the natural state. And it is not dependent on external circumstances. It is experienced even when the external circumstance is sort of unpleasant, or when an obstacle arises, or when a challenge presents itself, or when the fear arises. It is seen to be not myself. It is another just thought which is disengaged from, not given any life to, not given any belief to. And you just remain as you are, happy, content, at peace. And the natural theme, your authentic natural theme of this life will unfold. But it is no longer, like, the unfoldment of it is no longer going to be a chase. It is no longer going to be a means to a future in which happiness resides. The celebration is now. Now is the only celebration, regardless of what are the contents of the now. So rest peacefully here as you are, letting go of belief in thought, letting go of attention and engagement with thought. And you will see that happiness is just here. And every single time you do fall into thought, notice the unhappiness that you begin to experience. In all your judgments and labels and interpretations about what life is, there is suffering. Whereas experiencing life as it actually is, being with whatever is here and now, fully allowing it to be, no matter how unpleasant the circumstance may be or the feeling, you will see that just being with it, being with life as it is, the natural happiness that is here, the contentment arises. Words are not enough. Words will never be enough. You must see this. You must actually turn your attention to what these words are pointing you to. You must let go of belief in all your beliefs about life and thoughts about life, and actually be willing and be courageous enough to follow what these words are pointing you to. This is not an accomplishment. This is not a privilege meant for only a few. See this for yourself and recognize it. See you next time.